now for some sports news in this country. The Baseball Hall of Fame ballots have been counted. We're joined now by current sports correspondent Jim Mancari with this special report on the vote. Love having you in the field. Love you even more on set with us. You have to do this more often. So Jim, welcome. How did it go today? What were the results?
Well, we had 3 players elected this year. Longtime Atlanta Braves pitchers Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine, and slugging Chicago White Sox star Frank Thomas. Now, Maddux won 4 consecutive Cy Young Awards in the early 90s, and he won 355 games in his career, which is good enough for 8th on the all-time list. And it's fitting that Maddux will be joined by his teammate, Tom Glavine, of course, and Glavine also won 300 games and is one of only 6 left-handers ever to accomplish that feat. And finally, of course, the big hurt, Frank Thomas, is one of only 9 players in history with 500 home runs and a 300 career batting average.
Now that's pretty impressive.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, to say the least. But now, of course, Tom Glavine, he played 5 seasons with the New York Mets, but he's also Catholic.
Yes, he is Catholic, and actually he's spoken for Catholic Athletes for Christ, which is an organization that helps Catholic athletes share their faith. Now some players are sometimes a little bit uncomfortable voicing their religious beliefs, but Glavine was open about his faith and always sought to set a positive example for young people in the community. And from seeing his time with the Mets, that was absolutely true with his career here in New York. But unfortunately, his time in New York will always be tarnished. His Mets legacy will always be remembered for one game. It was the end of 2007 season. The Mets needed 1 win to win the NL East division, but unfortunately Glavine got the start. He gave up 7 runs in the first inning, and the team wound up losing the game 8-1 and missing the playoffs that year.
Still remarkable, though.
Absolutely. 22-year career, 300 wins, left-handed pitcher. Definitely very impressive.
We certainly have to give credit where credit is due. Now, I want to move on to a few notable players who were on the ballot but not elected this year.
Okay, sure. Well, we'll start with Craig Biggio, local guy, Long Island guy, and he's also a Catholic, just like Glavine, and he fell only 2 votes shy of election this year. So, normally a player with 3,000 hits in his career will get an automatic bid to Cooperstown, but so likely next year Biggio should get the call. But now we have to look at Mike Piazza, who, of course, our diocesan hero here in Brooklyn. He got 62.2% of the vote this year, which is an increase from last year, but still not enough for induction this year. But we know he's the greatest hitting catcher of all time, and he seemed to address the rumors of, he had some performance-enhancing drug potential rumors there. And he addressed those in his book Long Shot that was released in February of last year. But yeah, no call for Mike this year.
But what about his chances for moving forward, though? What have you heard about that?
Well, I mean, honestly, Liz, I thought that this was going to be the year for Mike. I mean, it was only his 2nd year on the ballot, but still, you look at his body of work and his career, and I thought this was it. Now, he was good friends with Bishop Ignatius Catanello, who we know passed away in March of last year. Now, so this time around, I guess that Bishop Iggy wasn't too convincing with the baseball gods because, Mike's still out of the Hall of Fame. So I bet Iggy's up there. He's not too happy right now, but I'm sure someday soon Mike will get the call. Hopefully Bishop Iggy's doing his work. And especially the increase in voting percentage this year for Mike, that certainly bodes well for successive elections.
I have a feeling Bishop Iggy is going to be smiling down, and we're going to revisit this sometime soon. Thank you for joining us, Jim. Like I said, we always like having you here, so you got to come back more often.